Hey, what a flippy flop, though. This is Stranger or Big Moose, and we're here with Faultarian Journal number 5, and we're here to talk about all things Fault. And Steven Chandler, please introduce yourselves.
Yo, 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 it's your boy S.A. Reed, aka Steven, aka best crunch main you'll ever see. It's me.
And yeah, it's me at Gotta Get Swole. Still kicking it.
Still kicking it back.
Frig, yeah.
So, guys, as you can see, we got a few overlays that look super fucking fancy this time. Hope you guys enjoy them. So, the topic number 1 that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about tester games. We got a few notes on that. The overhaul. Uh, Thank you, Felix. It looks awesome, doesn't it? Anywho. Uh, of course, we had to put the announcement in that was just released a little bit ago. But that's a bit touchy, and I'm just going to leave it at that for now. And then for Act 2, we got reasonable expectations for early access, MMR, controller support, heroes, and then for Act 3, we got AI on Trello, ARAM, toxicity, overrated and underrated heroes. So, guys, this time we're going to try to keep it a bit shorter. So, usually we've been doing 6 hours, what we're aiming for with 3 breaks, because talking is a lot. We're going to start trying to bring it down shorter. We're just trying to find that niche, see what people view, see what people like to see. So we're going to try to keep it around 3 hours. I think at this rate it's already going to go over because of me, and Steven Chandler might hate me for it, but that's okay. That's what
Giving
we're going to try
ourselves
to do.
goals and trying to keep to
Yeah,
a schedule.
yeah, because 8 hours is 8 hours is it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know, or 6 hours, sorry. But yeah, so let's get it started, and I'm going to start bringing up some gameplay. I don't got an overlay for the gameplay, though. So, tester games. Steven Chandler, while I'm bringing up the gameplay, do you guys want to get that started?
Yeah, so basically, mainly kind of what we wanted to talk about, just like from a community standpoint, because obviously, again, not that we've mentioned it yet, but to anyone listening, we are not directly affiliated with Strange Matter Studios or Fault.
Thank you,
Purely just
Felix, for the
community,
host. I really appreciate it.
purely just our opinions, after all. But we just wanted to kind of talk about like the positives and negatives of testers kind of streaming or putting out videos of like actual development and seeing the process behind the scenes. Like, yes, there's going to be positive and negatives to everything, but we kind of wanted to touch on some of the things we kind of had opinions on.
Yeah.
So
So what we meant by what we mean by tester games. So I had a discussion with someone about tester games. Name will remain unknown, and yeah, that's where this idea stemmed from. So pretty much what we want to talk about is why, from our perspective as a consumer, why we think tester games should be streamed or should they not be, and the positive and negatives to both. So first off, we're just going to start with the positives, pretty much. In my opinion, tester games should be streamed. And today's announcement really, without going too much into the announcement, today's announcement really enforced in me why it's important. Because, look, guys, I know Strange Matter doesn't want to be associated with these other companies. I know they don't, but they are. In some sense or another. Not really, like, they are in some sense or another, right? Because you're all using the same assets. So most of those have died, unfortunately, or are in the quiet, whatever you want to call it. Tester games show that you guys are not in the quiet. They keep that hope alive for the Paragon remake that we all know and love. And I think that's the biggest reason for doing it.
because I mean, I can understand the point of like sort of trying to do like, again, like some of the other games, trying to do sort of the whole Apex Legends effect of just dropping out of nowhere. So when you literally have no real expectations, then it's like, okay, yeah, like you set the expectation by playing it and seeing it. It's sort of the first impression, but there's enough videos out there. There was the alpha weekends, like people can create an opinion on that. And the number one thing I'm seeing people make the comparison between like Fault and let's say Overprime, because that just, I only bring up Overprime so much because again, people are playing it, and if you go on Twitch at any moment, typically there's somebody streaming it. So for just the regular consumer, like I'm not talking about somebody who's real into it, not even people who like are guaranteed to drop money on this
We're talking
game.
about the people that aren't even in the Strange Matter Discord. We're talking
Yeah,
about the people that know about Fault but are questioning it. Is
yeah.
it
So
gonna
it's sort of,
make
it
it?
just it reaffirms it. So like even in my opinion, even if it isn't something like a stream, because with the stream it's very unpredictable and you can't really control the content. It's kind of again, it's live, so if there's a huge flaw or a huge bug, you're now plastering it over everything.
Yeah.
But at least having something like, I'm not even saying it has to be a weekly dev update, but like something every 2 weeks, every month, just like showing that progress, like just being able to. It's mainly that's for the people who are like really into it, who want it to succeed. I feel like that would be beneficial rather than negative.
Well, the transparency and just keeping it going is always going to be beneficial. You know what I mean? Like if you can do it every day, that would be ideally, of course, the best. But obviously, that's unrealistic. You know what I mean?
And it's also in a weird point right now, only due to the fact that majority of people are sitting at home with nothing to do. So if you give those people like, just as much as we want to say again, in a MOBA, time is the most important thing. Like giving yourself time to make a play, giving yourself to get away. It's the same thing in the real world. So if we want to talk about how we're going to spend our time, people could be sitting at home endorsing your product. You could be letting people sit home getting hyped up about your product. Or since they're bored and you're not posting anything, and the only way to get any information is to harass somebody on a Discord, instead you're just giving the information, you're pulling people in. It's the same reason why we're doing this stream right here. It's about pulling people in. It's about starting that conversation. It's not saying, hey, come to me for the answers. It's, hey, let's have a discussion. Let's have that open communication. And there's a lot of people who just won't go on Discord. So it's about finding all those different means to get your point across and just give people a reason to believe in your product.
Yeah. And I just want to say for all the new viewers that joined, for anyone that doesn't know what the Faultarian discussion is, or the Faultarian journal is what we're calling it, we're basically three people, Gotta Get Swole, Stranger, and S.A. Reed. We are here. We were Paragon lovers. We followed a lot of the remakes for quite a while now, and we're here to talk about everything Fault. We're here from the consumer perspective. We none of us are testers or anything like that. We'd love to hear everyone's opinions. We even like to take people in to talk in the voice chat with us if they would like to do so, and all that. Uh, so yeah, that's what we're doing. So the first topic we're talking about is tester streams, and in light of the announcement that was just released, which kind of broke my heart, and I kind of went and had a little fucking hissy fit earlier. Uh, yeah, we're now talking about the importance of tester streams and how all they are is beneficial in my eyes. Steve, what do you think about tester streams?
I think having the tester streams, it's helpful, especially in terms of like an advertising standpoint. Um, they're relatively cheap. They're easy to time, and want to watch Fault. They want to watch Paragon. They want to watch this content. And if you have people streaming it, you can have people testing. Um, like they'll probably be wanting to test it out a little bit more because I mean they're streaming while they do it, which for some people, like a decent income. It just helps show off the game a little bit more. And it's like we've already brought up that whole idea of like now that there's so much extra time standing in the way of the community actually getting to play it, I feel it would go a long way, and they wouldn't have to watch the same gameplay over and over and over again.
At the same time, though, it's sort of it sets a weird precedent that like people expect to have the knowledge as well. So I mean, that's sort of like the two-sided sword there. It's that like yes, all of a sudden you become fully transparent, but to sort of just again playing devil's advocate, it's like all of a sudden now you start putting too much out. Where does that end? How much do you give away? Because like, the other thing you got to look at is they do have competition with games that aren't technically out. So if you have your full deck of cards laid out on the table and everyone knows exactly what you're working with, then it's easy for, let's say, other developers to have some easy access to things that may or may not work. So definitely, as much as we can say tester games would be extremely good, the more that happens behind closed doors, maybe more gets done. I don't know really how much more might get done, but like if you don't have to worry about what's being seen and at what standard it has to be at, because that's the other thing. A lot of people when they are playing the other games, everyone's making comments on how it runs, if it's chugging, how it looks. So the more you're showing off, you're also giving more opportunities for people to talk it down.
It's true. It's true. So there is some positives to keeping it closed, right? The number one thing is you're releasing a product. You're basically showing a product that's unfinished, and there's always going to be people that are going to look at it and go, "This is fucking shit. I'm not buying Fault." Simple as that, and they're never going to take another look at it. And that's just
Yeah,
simple as it is. And then a year down the road, they might, when one of their friends tell them, "Come on, man, give it a shot." So that's one problem with tester streams. The other problem is it sets an expectation. So Strange Matter has this huge thing about transparency, which they started way back when they started their Discord and everything. They've always been transparent, always been trying to keep the community involved uh, to a certain extent, and having these tester streams can set the expectation of that the community expects to know this stuff.
yeah, yeah,
They expect to know when there's an issue. They expect to just know everything. So then it can lead up to a higher disappointment, for example, which I think happened today. And that's just yeah. So that I can see why it should be kept inside, and also on top of that, another thing that I was thinking of from a streaming perspective, when you got testers streaming, are they really like, how do I word this? They're not fully focused on testing anymore. They're now
yeah,
also focused on streaming. So it can
yeah.
also cause an issue where they might be playing a certain character because they don't want to get shit on stream. You know what I mean? They might not be using that controller to try out the new customizability with it because they suck with a controller, even though they're a PC player primarily. Little stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but I personally think tester streams are a good idea. So that was just kind of the
Yeah, but
devil advocate
you've
point of view.
always sort of championed like full transparency as well. That's definitely as a consumer what you look for in a product.
Yeah, I want to see the road. I personally love seeing the development process.
Yeah.
It means a lot to me. It's how I get connected to games and to the community. Uh, it's just as simple as that. Well, you got new tires on your truck, Jack. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I remember last night. Anywho, so Steve, in your eyes, why would let's say you were Jester? I can't say that. Let's say you were one of the founders. Jester's a robot, so he doesn't exist in my eyes. Uh, if you were a founder, why would you think it's a bad idea to have tester streams? I'll,
Um, my Wi-Fi is taking a shit here in a sec. Why don't you go to Chandler first?
Chandler, from a consumer perspective, we got it. But if you had
Yeah.
to, if you had to put your, if you had to step into the shoes of the devs, what do you think?
Again, it's quality control.
Yeah.
So with anything, if you don't put out a shitty product, then people can't say that you make shit products. But at the same time, if you don't put out anything at all, then you do not get talked about. So it's definitely that fine point, and I think they are doing a good job of how they're dealing with the whole situation, like
Hmm.
taking their time to have a proper product come out and whatnot. And I fully support their reasoning with how it's kind of developing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not going to say that like we all. I mean, that's the only reason why any of us are in the Discord, and the only reason why anyone ever really wants to talk about a game, or anyone who gets passionate, is because again, you just want to play the game at the end of the day. So it's hard to and I'm sure the developers want to play the game. I'm sure they don't want to. The only thing they do is create something that people aren't interacting with. So it's just about being able to kind of take yourself out of the equation and look at it from every angle, like how the devs feel, how the testers feel, how just the general public feels about having something up or having it not up. It's just about being able to control kind of what goes out, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you put it pretty well. If I was a dev, it's a lot harder to it makes your life a lot more difficult when you're streaming tester games. It does. It makes it a lot
Well,
more
they also
difficult than it makes
can't
it
like
easy.
you can't go to your testers and say, yeah, so we want you to stream this for free advertising for us, but we don't want you to say anything bad about it while it's still a working process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the I think the biggest thing is you have to pay the people to not say, "Wow, that was fucking stupid." Well,
Yeah,
fucking hope they change that. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
But
Like,
that's why they have their tester Discord, I guess, so that
yeah.
they can put it in there and no one will see it. But
mhm.
saying it on stream, you know what I mean? But again, it's still like PR stuff, right? Like someone could accidentally say something on stream and it might get a lot of gas for whatever reason. You know what I mean? That might
Yeah,
negatively impact. But at the same time, it's that could happen either way. It could happen if I'm streaming, if someone else is streaming, if a tester's streaming, a dev streaming, doesn't really matter. But
yeah,
in testers streams, they specifically can control that. You know what I mean? Because if you don't like what they say, well, they don't have to be a tester anymore. Yeah. Do you guys got any other points on the tester idea?
Nothing really that hasn't been said. Again, like a lot of it comes down to common sense, but definitely something once emotions get evolved, you kind of you want to play the game because you want to feel good. Everyone just
something
wants to play the game.
something that just kind of popped into my head. What if there was, because like a lot of the time you just want to like, if you can't play the game, sometimes seeing it is the best thing.
Yeah.
What if they were curating some kind of YouTube page or something where like they were like dev games and then people edited
Well,
them?
that's what I was kind of meaning. Not necessarily tester streams, but like just have a dev update once a month or every 2 weeks.
They were
Yeah.
doing that for a while, actually.
Yeah,
for
and
the
and
updates.
just even if you have nothing new to share, if you had somebody get on Twitch to just talk about it with people and interact for 3-4 hours on a Friday night,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and again, it's just talking about it. You could literally go up there, and if you have nothing new to say, you have nothing new to say, but you're at least talking and whatever. But
Yeah.
I guess that's the other thing. People who really want the game just want it to be available tomorrow, and they don't care if it's playable or not.
And I can say my final thought on this tester stream. In light of the announcement, this announcement's probably going to come up quite a bit. um, Tester streams are going to be a very good way of validating that this is not another Core
Yeah.
or another Phoenix
Because
Rising.
that seemed to be a big thing people were bringing up in the Discord there earlier. Like, obviously not everyone, but there was enough people who kept bringing up, like, all we're worried about is them taking our money and going. And I mean, obviously, like, again, everyone's going to say, obviously, like, if you're spending even 2 hours a day working on this game, by no means do you want anyone thinking that you're just in it for the money and then you're getting
Yeah.
out of there. I mean, like,
Yeah.
nobody's going to spend even that much time of their day for something that they fully expect in six
Hmm.
months to not be working on.
Yeah. And from a consumer's perspective, I'm telling you, like, this was a fucking blow to my heart today. And to know that I'm now going to have to soon TM 2 month timeline, which might actually turn into a 6 month timeline at this rate. Uh, you know, it doesn't have to be a tester stream, but something just to keep me involved, and not just
Something to
me. I mean, like the
staunch the
community.
yeah, just to staunch the desire for the game because like we want this game to succeed. We want it to be out and playable, and for us to give it our review. Like, because
Exactly.
if you're thinking of myself and Swole, we haven't even played the alpha weekends yet. You know what I mean? We're banking on this because this is the best looking one,
So
and
just because I like to try and, like, with anything that's brought up, I like to try and find, like, sort of like a mutual solution to it. So, in your guys' opinion, would, let's just hypothetically saying, would a alpha weekend once every 2 months, just kind of while it's being developed, like, let's say if it, for whatever reason, because of the progression of things, it just kind of goes into limbo for up to 6 months from now, if every 2 months you were guaranteed that you just had 48 hours to spend with the game while it's being developed, is that enough for you to let it continue to sit in limbo for, let's say, up to a year?
I think that's
Or
more than
would you
enough,
rather
actually.
would you rather not have any more alpha weekends and just have it guaranteed to come out in 3 months?
I'd rather for sure it come out in 3 months.
I would rather a guarantee, personally. But
Yeah.
first off, I want to say a few things. Number one, we support Strange Matter, 100 fucking 4,000%. I'm gonna stop swearing from now on. I say that every stream, but it never happens. Um, yeah, we do support Strange Matter, and it just the announcement was today, and anywho, but that's stuff. Um, and
Greg, this is the saltiest I've heard Greg in a while. Like Greg all day was just kind of he was steaming in the Discord, man.
yeah, our own personal Discord. Yeah. I think 2 months. Okay, I don't want. Just for any viewer sitting here, and especially if there's a dev watching, which I know there is, guys, don't expect an alpha weekend every 2 months. Like, that's
No,
unrealistic for the
no.
devs. They're dishing out their own money here. It's gonna cost them money to have up all those servers. It's in a pandemic. They're gonna go broke. Like,
Yeah,
they
it
you
was
can't they
mainly
can't
just
do
about
that.
giving perspective. Why I brought that up, it's like, yes, it's all well and good. You bring it up first. Oh yeah, be able to play the game every 2 months. Like, oh yeah, I get to interact with it. But at the end of the day, if they're able to just buckle down and have a finished well, like obviously it's an early access, so it's not finished, but finished to their standards in 2 months, or I'll say 3 months, just because like again, I don't want to say 2 months and have it be 3 months. I always kind of estimate big, but
Yeah.
just being able to know, and that's the biggest thing. It's like there's just no way of knowing. I think that's why there was so much people like upset about it, because you have no way of knowing why it can't work. You have no like you don't know why you can't play it on the 8th. Like
Yeah.
the amount of people that were saying, "Oh yeah, just give me the unfinished game. I'll play it on the 8th." Like I don't care.
Mm. But
It's just about knowing why. You don't need to show them. You don't need to do anything. It's just knowing exactly why it doesn't work.
yeah. Uh, and at the end of the day, I want to play a good game.
Yeah.
So if that means Strange Matter has to take an extra 2 months, you know, I'll be all right.
Oh, 100%.
Uh, I'll be all right. That's that. At the end of the day, that's what I want. I want a good game to play that I can play every day, hop on with my friends, play competitively, casually, joke around, take it full sweaty, try hard, all that into one. That's what I want to see. A game that I can grow with. You
Yeah.
know, I want to hop on the EA bandwagon because I'm not waiting for full release when the game is super fantastic. I'm trying to play the game and be a part of the growth. And I say me because like obviously I'm the one talking, but I know I'm not the only one out there that feels that way. And yeah. Anywho, what is our next topic there, guys?
Just kind of talking about what we think, or what we want sort of to be in the overhaul.
Oh yeah. So we're here to talk about the overhaul.
Because at first, because obviously like any of these that we do, like we kind of plan it in advance what we kind of want to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was originally just going to be, hey, how big do we think this overhaul is going to be, and like how important? And I mean, obviously, like due to the information today, like it's pretty fucking big if there's certain aspects of the game that just don't work right now due to an overhaul. So it's got me excited, and I think that was the one sentiment from a couple of the devs there in Discord that were trying to get across that like it's going to be worth it. It's big enough that 2 months to them, they're willing to make that gamble because of how good it's going to be.
Let me put it to you this way. This is a really good way of thinking about it. Strange Matter is willing to lose players because
Potentially.
potential players today
For the
to
greater good.
to create a greater game because they believe it's going to be that good that it's going to all be worth it in the long run. That's what they believe it's going to be worth it, you know,
Hell yeah.
which is going to be awesome. So, on this big overhaul, we just want to talk about a few things, a few ideas that they've been gassing it for months now about what is going to be in the overhaul. Uh, and they've been pretty quiet about it, about what's going to be in it. Um, so we're here to just talk about a few ideas, our thoughts and opinions on the overhaul, and so on and so forth. So, first thing foremost that I want to see in the overhaul, Sparrow has to be in the game on early access. She's there to be announced. She's not in the game. She, she's going to be in the game. That's like a given. But at this point in development, maybe they're just having. Maybe she's a bit scuffed. Maybe she isn't working where they want her to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't imagine she was supposed to come out with the season pass.
Yeah, she's supposed to come out with the season pass.
So I can't imagine like I understand, yeah, there's aspects where they would probably be like bringing her in and whatnot, but maybe there's other more important things even before a character.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree. I agree to that, Chandler. But Strange Matter has it like set up that like there's some programmers, there's some hero designers, there's
Yeah.
some. So unless Sylphin knows how to do code, which he may or may not, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'm pretty sure He's
What?
just
You don't
focused on
know?
Heroes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So him working on Heroes isn't slowing down the development of the rest of everything, if that makes any sense.
Unless because of how the characters are being built, it doesn't work in the rest of the game.
Ooh, that was a good point.
Because again, they all with the finished product, all these different arms do need to work together.
Yeah.
So I mean that is a thing, but by no means do I think. I mean, we've heard before things like crunch and whatnot just won't be in early because every single time they tried implementing them in their version of the game with just how they had it set up, they just had to recode a whole bunch of shit afterwards just to make it work in the world.
Yeah,
Heresy?
So
apparently some of the assets are like really good. Like Shinbi apparently is just like a copy and paste almost
yeah,
into the Unreal
but there's
Engine.
other ones where it's like, oh yeah, you get the skin, but you don't really get much else.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's cool. So obviously we want to start with that because that's like a guarantee, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what you can expect from this overhaul. Sparrow's going to be in the game. Like she
Do we
has
think
to
there's going to
be.
be any like actual like visual change to the map other than textures? Like, do you think the actual like size of lanes would get changed?
Yes, I do actually. So Strange Matter has said publicly, it's written down somewhere. Uh,
Where?
I
Where?
don't know. You know,
Trello?
Link in the chat, bro.
uh,
Links
they.
or it didn't happen.
It's written down somewhere that this current map that you can see in this gameplay. Um, by the way, this is gameplay from Alpha 3 Weekend, everybody. This is not like current gameplay or anything. Uh, anywho, that this map is like a temporary map they essentially created for testing. It's not the map they want to have
Okay,
on full
I never
release.
heard that. That's news to me.
Oh, it's not the map they want to have for full release, and it's not the map they plan on having for early access.
Sweet.
Yeah, because there's a lot of issues with this testing map, to say the least, and so they plan on changing it. You know,
Were these problems that you felt while playing, or
yes,
so? What would be the biggest thing that you hope switches with the map?
the map. The biggest thing I want to see is the jungle. That's like
Yeah,
the
I
number
think
one thing.
yeah. Ever since Legacy, like there just hasn't like really felt like a jungle.
Yeah, the jungle just it doesn't feel like a jungle.
No,
It feels like I'm just moving into a new room on the
that
map.
just so happens to have a wall in front of it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely because that was one of the things that I liked about it being third person with that verticality and whatever is like use that to your advantage in a jungle. Like literally put trees over it so at certain angles you just can't see shit.
yeah. Well,
Like make it difficult.
jungles can be spooky because you might run around that corner and someone might be there that might kill you. And the
Yeah,
current
because you want
the
to be comfortable but not like overconfident.
yes, and the jungle's just a bit too open. That's kind of the big thing. Whew, reverb just
I
won. Just
Greg's gonna have to absorb that one.
hang on. Reverb said something. He thinks he can provide some insight even though he's in the dark.
Okay, that makes sense.
something I was thinking about, and I don't know if this is heretical, but like,
Oh,
do you guys think that because what are the odds of like them taking this extra time? Do you think it's them making something like, for example, the map even better than it was going to be, or do you think they were struggling to even get it to what they were hoping it to be in the first place?
uh, I think
That's
that
like it's like pure speculation.
yeah, this is all pure speculation, of course. First, I just wanted to take a note on what Reverb said. So, Reverb is a tester for Strange Matter Studios, for everyone that does not know. So, he's just saying that it's because of what does it say? Based on previous history of how the game has functioned with patches, when back-end code and optimization things happen, they need to set up the servers to work with the newest build, which makes sense. That is why there has been no tester gains, because simply there
Yep.
isn't a server to play on for that version of the game. Oh, so when they create a new patch, they need to also make sure that the server works with that patch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh, when it comes down to it, since they're trying to get it ready for EA, they're spending more time on making the game better than creating a tester game, because simply there isn't a server to play on for the version of the game. I think as soon as they get stable on this new build with the code ready to go, they'll have an alpha weekend, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
And that makes total sense to me. Actually, that was actually a really good way of
But I
putting
mean,
it. Thank you,
so
Reverb.
that's funny enough. Just kind of like looking at everything that's been going on. Imagine if that, like, again, we have no actual confirmation that's actually what's going on, but just purely as an example, just from a consumer's point of view, imagine if that explanation was given to the general public or the Discord at least. Not
You know
saying that's
what,
exactly what
Chan?
happened or
You're actually making a
what went
good
on.
point here. If
Yeah, but
you
I'm just saying, like, that type of word, and like any rational human being looks at that and they go, "Hell yeah, I'm not going to sit there and recode that." So you guys do that. That makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
But again, just so everyone's fully aware, speculation.
Yeah.
These aren't
We are not
confirmations.
associated with Strange Matter Studios
Yeah, yeah,
whatsoever. We would love to be one day, but until then, we are not. And we're just consumers, and we're just talking more so what we hope.
yeah. And just to Reverb's point, like, if there's going to be a pack and if it's going to be $60, you really don't, even in early access, you just don't want it to feel janky. It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Because again, there's a lot of people like us that, like, through the shitty versions of the game and, like, even with bad patches, we will continue to play. But if they come out with it and it's the first month and it's playing like shit, there's a lot of people will go, "Holy shit, I spent all this money. I am never coming back."
Yeah. Oh yeah, EA is a big deal. Like once the floodgates open, they don't close again.
Yeah, and like they said in the Discord, like, they don't, quote, like, to an extent, they don't need the backers, and they don't need, like, $300,000 to come out because they have the game fully functional for early access. They're going to develop it anyway. So if these people who are clearly showing they're in it to make the best game possible are saying, with or without backers, they're going to make the best version of the game, you really have to kind of listen.
Oh, so we got a bit more insight. So River was saying he has his own speculation because he's in the dark. uh, Um, of what he expects. Guys, I won't play like shit. Like it played good on Alpha 3 weekend and it's only getting better. The big thing what it seems that they're working on there now is they're working on making the game more AAA, right? So that
Yeah.
more people are going to look at the game and go, "Oh yeah, I want to play that," right? Without actually being involved in the Discord. Which is, I think it's a fantastic idea. I think that's what they should be doing, and I'm fully on board. I get it.
Yeah.
Uh, but then we got Jacka who chimed in, and Jacka is a dev for Strange Matter Studios, and he's saying that setting up the servers is easy as uploading the build, so that is not what's taking so long. So they're making a lot of gameplay and other improvements to the overall game and backend system. Ah, so it seems
Well,
that
because we kind of assumed that, what, a month ago, because that's why they were saying that there was no, like, tester streams and whatnot, because we were talking to, like, other testers and whatnot, and they were saying, again, they just had nothing to play because they were just doing back end, and, like, the testers just really weren't getting talked to about anything unless it directly related to how the game felt or played. So I think we all kind of assumed that it was like based on like performance and actual visuals and uh, just the overall how the game ran and felt.
Hmm. So, uh, basically, what it seems like is what the point of what's just what why this overhaul is just so big is it's not building the server and creating these new builds. It's about the designing and coding of everything itself. So the designing and coding of the map. So maybe they don't got fully finished, or it's not working the way they want it to. Whatever it is, right? Because
Well, again, just like think about how good Paragon looked like at the end of its cycle. I mean, obviously, faults in those alpha weekends, they weren't going to make it look that good because we're worried on gameplay and whatnot. But like, there's a lot of people. Again, if you want to get a lot of those older Paragon players back, or the people who literally only started playing Paragon in, let's say, version 42, they are going to want it to look like that. I
hmm
don't know if that's their goal.
nah, you
It
can't
would
expect
make
that.
sense.
Like,
It would make sense, like, if they have the opportunity to, and they know, hey, I just need this much more time to get it to look even 90% as good as it did. Like, why wouldn't you take that time if you
yeah,
know you can do it?
if you know you can do it, right? Because at the end of the day, it's all about playing a good game. As I said, it's about playing a good game, and if it's a good game, it's going to attract people because that's just how the gaming community is. They're very polarizing. If they enjoy the game, they'll get their friends to play it. If they don't enjoy
Yep.
the game, everyone and their mother's not going to play it. Like, just it's just kind of as simple as that.
Yeah,
And
early access is definitely a word of mouth kind of thing.
yeah, it is. Yeah, early access is pretty. I texted one of my friends. I texted Krepton, who's in this game, about the delay because he's not in the Discord or anything. Um, anywho, he just said he's about to beat some ass. So, anywho, that's it. Anywho, I just want to say that. I probably shouldn't have,
Yeah.
but yeah. So on the overhaul, we can expect better performance and aesthetics, especially better performance. Right? They're trying to reach that AAA goal. They definitely aren't going to reach it for early access. That's setting the expectation too high. In
Do you
my
think?
personal, yeah, I do think so, because it's not even in beta. Like this is like the
Well, they said
close.
they aren't going to have a beta. They're going from early access straight into full release.
Oh
Early
shit,
access is basically the beta.
that means early access is the beta. They just don't want to use that
Yeah,
word.
so that's what I'm saying. So like they're just doing it a little bit. It is structured a little bit different, not extraordinarily different than other games, but like the fact that there isn't a beta, you need to take that into consideration. So like whether like how high up is the bar set due to the fact that there isn't going to be a beta, and what would be the minimum build you would expect from a game that's going to again because there's no way there's going to be a massive jump, let's say, from the end of early access to full release. Like they aren't just going to like all of a sudden drop everything down for a weekend and then boot it back up with it looking like a completely different game. So it's going to be, I assume, a pretty close to finished product for early access outside of again having the roster or certain gameplay features tweaked.
Yeah,
Does
and
that make
Reverb
sense?
just said the way he looks at it is SMS could have added Sparrow to the game and ship out the stuff for EA, but they're taking the time to get it right and lose out on money so they could make it now to be more successful down the road. Because Strange Matter believes they got a good product and they're capable of releasing a game that at the end of the day everyone's gonna be love to play, and that's like that's the big thing. I'm gonna keep saying it. You're gonna hear it a lot. At the end of the day, they're doing this to make a better game and a better experience for their players.
Well, so like just to put it into a little bit of perspective, so think about this. So you're getting yourself all dressed up, all cleaned up, you're getting ready, you're going out on a date.
Mm-hmm.
First time you're meeting this person. Would you rather show up directly on time when you said, looking like shit, or would you rather take a little bit of effort, have a nice clean shave, like make sure you're smelling nice, and potentially be 15 minutes late? So again, pros and cons. It's all about first impressions. So if your first impression is, oh yeah, you're on time, but you look like a slob, or yeah, you might be a little bit late, but just by looking at you, I can tell you spent a lot of effort in making sure you look good, that everything is exactly to your standard, and you just have that kind of self-respect that that's how you're going to present yourself.
Tyler, that was a fantastic analogy. That was really good.
And again, because again, and that's why I say only 15 minutes late. It's not like you're 2 hours fucking late. Like if they said May 8th and it comes out November 1st, okay, yeah, no, I'm going to be angry. But
Hmm.
2 months is the equivalent of, again, showing up 15 minutes late to a first date.
Exactly. Yo, Chandler, we need to trademark what you just said. That was good. Steve, what are your thoughts and opinions on this overhaul? What do you expect from this overhaul as someone that's not super active in the Discord, that pretty much only listens, that knows most of the information from just doing this stuff and stuff we tell you and such on that? What do you expect and hope for, and what do you think is unrealistic?
I want you guys kind of took all the good ideas. Um, I'm looking for a hat. I want to give my character a hat. I want hat customization implemented
Do you
into
miss
my character's creation.
the master headwear?
That would be cool. I was trying to
Rux
make a
with his
meme, but
horns?
yeah, that was actually pretty cool. That shit. I had the Grux Master hat. Um, I don't know. Like I think.
It's like
I mean,
having stuff like that. It's the wow factor.
Reaver brought it up, but like I, the fact that they're saying, "Yo, this product is not what we want you guys to experience it as." If anything, it feels like like you just said it right there. Like the whole thing, like it's like they're doubling down on like I really, when this comes out, I wanted to really feel like this is going to be something special. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and
Like,
like I don't know how to explain it, and I say this all the time, and I think I get this from my improv theater kind of stuff that I used to do, but you can just feel when something's gonna be a good game and someone's a good studio. I feel like Strange Matter is a good studio. I felt it when I played the Alpha 3 weekend, and if they're going to take an extra 2 months to better that feel, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Like I need to calm down. Like today's a rough day for everyone, for all the consumers. Like Strange Matter has to excuse the people of today because the announcement came out today. But come tomorrow, when I'm thinking straight and my emotions and logic comes back into my brain a little bit more, uh, you know, I'm all for it, guys. Bring it. Another 2 months, I'll be here. I'll be right beside you,
And I think at first
supporting.
a lot of people again just had that emotional response rather than a logical response.
yeah,
Typically an emotional response is pretty quick to come. A logical response, unless you view everything like that, and again, not everyone's micromanaging every single thing they look at in the rest of the day, but like typically it's based on emotions and your feelings and your experiences. So again, people have seen other games do certain things. So again, you go into that sort of self defense, sort of like, hey, red flag, I'm worried now. But until you take that step back and you start to go and like see why it's happening and how it's only for the best,
Hmm.
that's sort of when logic starts to step in.
Yeah, yeah. And just to show, we got Unorthodox Bird. He's saying that he played Dota for years and like he would just rather see the map get polished and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
Reverbs. of the opinion that there's just a few inherent issues with the map. I'm with the opinion. I think there's a few issues. I made a YouTube video about it a while ago when I first got my PC, and yeah, and unorthodox. What I think they plan. Uh, from my understanding, this map that you're currently seeing is a testing map only. It is not the map they plan on having in the game. But once they have the map in the game that they want, that will be the map that you play on. Same way as
Yeah,
you only play on whatever League of Legends map is called and Dota's maps. So you only play on the one map. They are going to release Legacy map eventually. They never said it was going to be Legacy, but it was going to be Legacy. But that's
and
that's
that
two
sort of
years
thing
down the road. That's not.
with Alpha, and the reason why the map was sort of just kind of placed there rather than like taking into consideration all the little details of the actual map design. It's again like, how important is map design if you can't make the actual like character animations correct? Like the map means nothing, especially again since we don't really know the process of these builds, like how impactful it is making those changes all at the same time, and like just like kind of deciding where you put your resources, because there's only so many people you can have working on the same thing at the same time. So it's about prioritizing certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So if you inherently just put out a map that you know you're going to change anyways, you don't put a lot of effort in. That's why you would see things like the river just not look like a river, just kind of just being there. Because again, priority.
Ooh. So Reverb is saying, Chandler.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
No, I can see that.
yeah, and that makes sense, right? In a MOBA, a map is very, very crucial to everything. It's crucial to the gameplay, the mechanics. Like if you make too small of a map, I'm gonna deathball you, for example. It's gonna happen.
And I guess, I guess that's proven due to the fact that again, it's not coming out on the 8th.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I was purely just talking at a alpha standpoint.
yeah. You were talking. What I think he's trying to say there is, he thinks like obviously the map is like very crucial to the gameplay, but at the end of the day, having a janky map is less important. Oh, I don't know if I can say that and mean it. I gotta find better words. Hang on. Uh, at the end of the day, all you really need to play the game is a hero that works and a janky map still going to be playable. Even though a better map's obviously going to make the quality of the game better and make certain heroes
And we
better
saw
and
that
all
with
that stuff.
Paragon. That's the reason why we went from Legacy to Monolith. Because people had problems with Legacy being too big. I mean, that's a game mechanic right there. The fact that the map was genuinely just too big and you had to put that run feature into it. But they had the mechanics. They kept a lot of the mechanics. The characters, the animations of the characters were still the same. They still hit the same way. It was sped up, yes, but they inherently still had those mechanics of the characters there, but changing the map. By no means do I think, obviously, Paragon didn't have Legacy as a placeholder, by no means, but it was like, obviously, what laid the path for us to eventually get this monolith, and why
Hang on a
people
second.
inherently sort of lean one way or the other way.
Hey, yo,
Hang on.
Reverb.
Our first Twitch subscriber ever. Thank you, Reverb. Oh my
Woo!
god. I love you. And I don't even really know you. But thank you. I really appreciate it. Uh, yeah.
But that's sort of like, again, and this is why I like this, and this is why I feel things such as like devs having their own dev streams once a week or once every 2 weeks, like having the conversation and just like being able to talk. It's about getting points of view. It's like if you're even if you are right 99.9% of the time, there's still that little bit of time where you're not right. So having that healthy conversation and being able to talk, like that's why I love stuff like this.
Well, that's what we're here for. That's kind of the whole thing. Um, I wish, to be honest, I kind of wish more people. I'll definitely get some votes, reverb. Uh, um,
I'm
I
gonna be
actually
picking
really
up some
enjoy it.
nice ones.
I
It's
actually
cool.
really enjoy it when people disagree because I just love a good debate, guys. To be honest.
Yeah, but I think all three of us kind of like debate as it
It's all
stands.
we've done all our life is disagree.
Me, Stephen Chandler
That's
were
why we're
debating.
such good friends.
You remember we were
Yeah.
debating just a few days ago? Hey, I
The,
remember
the
that.
biggest thing is just being able to have a difference of opinion, but understand where everyone's coming from because obviously it's for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Um, so what do you guys think about this overhaul? To put it in simplest terms, I want to see a better map. I want to see less jank
Oh
in
yeah,
Alpha
what did you
3 when you
guys
get.
do for the next character poll? I just saw that in chat. Who'd y'all vote for?
I'm gonna
Oh,
keep
I voted.
mine uh,
I. You want to know who I voted
undisclosed.
for?
Steve, I'm assuming you voted Crunch, obviously.
I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put what I voted for in the Faultarian uh, Discord, and y'all can just see it there.
That's a bit
uh,
sus.
I would rather keep my next character undisclosed for now because I'm not trying to create an opinion. Or
I mean, I outright, I personally, I pick Revenant. That's the number one character I miss.
I mean, Revenant is my logo,
Yeah, I
Yeah, I decided to be really selfish with it.
and you
Um,
chose Crunch.
well, why don't you go check the
I
Discord,
don't have to
buddy?
check it. I know you chose Crunch.
we all know. I mean, that's
I
that's
don't
the
have
only
to
thing you
check it to
talk
know
about
it's
every single
Crunch.
stream. If there's anything anyone knows about you, it's
Yeah.
you'll want Crunch.
Crunch is kind of an underdog right now. Like a lot of the testers really want Crunch to become in the game. A few of the devs do.
So I
Uh,
can
I
definitely see that
need
being
him. He was
frustrating
the
with the
coolest
assets.
character,
yeah, and
man.
he was so good when you stopped playing after version 42, Steve. And you're probably anyhow.
Salty as shit.
Unorthodox. We're currently in our own Discord called Faultarian, and the link should be down below if you would like to join it.
Yeah, you can find out what my answer is. I put it in the general
Hey, there we
chat,
go.
bro.
Yeah.
Welcome, motherfucker.
That's what
I'm
I was
just letting you
gonna
know I
have.
didn't choose Revenant. That is not who I chose. I'll just say that now.
You fucking
I
lied?
I didn't choose him.
yeah, he never said who he picked.
Son of a bitch. I
He
believed
said
you.
No,
he had to keep
I
it
chose
signed.
one of the other 39 characters.
I can almost guarantee whatever character Greg picked, probably no one else voted for.
Probably
No, that's
Decker.
not true. My character, a lot of people voted for.
Decker.
No,
We all know you want Decker.
no,
And you'll say no to the end of the earth.
not right.
Greg, you smacked ass with 2 characters in that game.
And
One of
them's
them
in the
is
game.
already in it. And it wasn't that you weren't good with other characters. I'm just saying, when
Yeah.
you picked up Narbash and Decker, I literally felt unstoppable. Okay, because I knew you were rolling in with those stunts.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and it's an interesting concept to bring up because again, they'll never bring up who actually the top voted one is, but it's things like that that I like to see because it's prioritizing resources. Like if
Hmm.
all of a sudden you have all these characters that you are eventually going to bring to the game, but you prioritize the ones that are going to bring people in and the ones people want to see the absolute most. That's all it is. It's just focus and resources, and I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah. So, new map. Give me the third purple faction in the rework of the second purple aspect. Major, minor aspects. So, item shop. Okay, we'll say item shop, map, good passives, And well, most of the passives are pretty fantastic for the most part, and just better performance.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I expect with this
And
overhaul.
I wouldn't say that's unreasonable either.
No,
Like
that's
those are
very
all
reasonable.
things that like I assume most of us would think
Mhm.
should be in EA.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's not
Steve,
unreasonable.
what's a gameplay feature you want to see, Steven,
Fucking
from somebody
hats.
who haven't played any of the alphas?
I. You know what I've
Like
always wanted?
something like even that's changed, like something that could literally just be a fault thing
Oh yeah.
that wasn't
By the way, for
present in
anyone watching,
Paragon.
I just wanted to say this. We are not associated with Stranger Matter Studios in any way. However, one day it would be awesome if we could be. Um, we are not
You
testers. We're
will
just
all get
consumers.
annoyed by us saying that, but we
Yeah,
will keep
but
saying it.
we're gonna keep saying it. Uh, we are just consumers like
Full
yourself.
transparency.
However, I can say this because it has been confirmed from a few of the devs and from some of the testers. If you have an issue with this announcement, for example, um, uh, yeah, if you have an issue with this announcement in any way, or you just want to put your complaints in, or you just need some, yeah. Um, if you guys don't know who Ryan Red is, he's the community manager for Strange Matter Studios, and he handles all of these things. You can find him in the Discord, on the Strange Matter Studios Discord. So yeah, if you have any issues, make sure that you let him know. Or if you have any ideas or suggestions or anything, let him know. Anywho,
Yeah.
where were we? I kind of lost track. Right, overhaul, end of it. What's the next thing, guys?
I think we're on break now.
Are we? That
Nope.
was pretty
I
No
fast.
don't
breaks.
know.
There's
No
zero breaks.
breaks. No breaks.
No breaks.
We're going right into Act 2.
All gas. No breaks. We were kind of already in Act Two.
Yeah, because we're trying to keep it down. We're trying to keep it at a smaller thing. Unorthodox. Thank you for the sub. I really appreciate it. You're number 2. Oh, thank you.
Hell yeah!
Oh man.
Um. So I guess the next thing to talk about is one of the features for EA